I moved to Saudi Arabia a few years ago, and man was I scared. But guess what? Now I regret not moving earlier. Why? Because in South Africa, it's tax, tax, tax. It's like tax is the air people in South Africa breathe. In Saudi Arabia, guess how much income tax is paid? Zero. Nada. Zilch. Grocery shopping in South Africa feels like planning a bank heist. Prices are through the roof. It is almost like you need a financial advisor just to buy bread. In Saudi Arabia, groceries are so cheap, it's like they're on clearance 24/7. And sometimes they just give you stuff for free, for no reason. Meanwhile, in South Africa, sometimes for no reason they'll charge you extra. So, one time I bought an imported South African green pepper in Saudi Arabia for 13 Saudi riyals. Well, that's because it's imported. The local Saudi one was only 3 riyals. My mom got mad at me when I told her. She asked me if the South African one was gold-plated, that I had to buy that one. But hey, I just wanted a taste of home. LOL. Now, let's talk about safety. In South Africa, crime is everywhere. It's like living in an action movie but without the cool special effects. In Saudi Arabia, it's so safe, you can reserve a table at a restaurant with just your phone or handbag. In South Africa, try that and your phone will go on an adventure of its own. You might see it in the next Fast and Furious movie. And petrol prices. In South Africa, filling up your tank is like making a down payment on a car. You might need a second job just to afford it. In Saudi Arabia, the most you'll pay is around 2 riyals per litre. There are things I miss from South Africa, like the weather and the food. But what I miss the most is family. Seriously though, I miss my family, friends, students I've taught, the people I've worked with, and my mom's home-cooked meals a lot. But you cannot beat the hospitality in Saudi Arabia. These people redefine the word hospitable. Not a day passes without someone offering me Saudi coffee or giving me something. They absolutely love guests. One time, my friend accidentally paid an extra riyal at a shop. The shopkeeper ran after us to return it, saying he didn't want to be answerable to God. Imagine that happening in South Africa. There, they might not even notice if you gave them your entire wallet by mistake. I bet they'd say, "Thanks for the tip." Oh, and the weather. In South Africa, we have seasons. You know, summer, autumn, winter, spring. In Saudi Arabia, it's just hot and hotter. Sometimes it's like standing in front of a giant hairdryer. But hey, you get used to it. Speaking of water, in South Africa, water shortages are a big deal. You might find yourself rationing water like it's liquid gold. In Saudi Arabia, they've got desalination plants turning seawater into drinking water. It's like they said, no water in a desert, no problem, we'll just make our own. And let's not forget the shopping malls. In South Africa, malls are great, but in Saudi Arabia, they're like mini-cities. One of the best parts of living in Saudi Arabia as a Muslim is the freedom to pray anywhere and everywhere. I promise you, you feel so free. Once I was at a shopping mall looking for the prayer room. I asked a lady from a shop where it was, and she said it's at the other end of the mall, which was far away. So she handed me a prayer mat and told me to put it down anywhere and pray. I said, "Won't people stare at me if I pray in the middle of nowhere or in one of the shopping aisles?" And she replied, "You're Muslim, we're Muslim. Just as it's normal for you to pray, it's normal for us to pray too." And here's the kicker. Some gas stations in Saudi Arabia have drive-through ATMs. Imagine that in South Africa. In Saudi Arabia, you can casually drive up, get your cash, and be on your way without a second thought. However, despite everything, I still love my country and it will always be home. Life has its ups and downs, but it's definitely been one heck of an expat adventure.